Good evening. Just a short video, kind of a repeat, like I predicted, about these race issues. We got the idiots now infiltrating Wikipedia, which does nothing. Whenever well, it's only a matter of time before I stop reading it. I basically don't go to ESPN.com anymore because of this. So take my business elsewhere. Sports are all but phased out. But when I read these articles, it's edited. It's not edited by like Warren Buffett, right? So you have to remember who the source is. So you're not fooling anybody. They're not changing anything. Somebody editing on Wikipedia has no bearing on what somebody's salary is at Amazon or this or that. So they're changing nothing. I've reduced my estate that goes to the political parties. So whoever's behind this gets an F, whoever that is, or whatever their goal is, they get an F. So um, you got basically now on actors' biographies, everything on there is civil rights, which is these people shouldn't even be in that position. And today is a little different. With Will Smith and all those other actors, they shouldn't even be. That's unfair to them to be getting involved in that. Now, a lot of these guys are idiots in Hollywood getting involved in that to begin with. It's bad for business, but um, they really shouldn't be uh, put in that position. That's unfair to them. They're actors. They're not politicians, which is why they fall flat on their face when they get involved in politics. But Buffett too on that. Um, but you got Brando's biography is talking about civil rights movement. I don't know what the climate was then. That's certainly not the climate today. But that's that's certainly not the number one issue if anybody reads the newspaper. So you trying to bring up these issues. This is not where the Democrats want this discussion, which is very surprising. You hear a lot of race issues out of the Democrats, and that's not a good strategy for them. Discrimination does not explain a wealth gap. It hurts both parties. It doesn't work that way. You take advantage of someone like that. If you could, then they would just do the same thing back, and it'd be a wash. So this is not where the Democrats want this discussion. It was very surprising. I'm the only issue I'm extreme right on would be race issues because of this. Um, it's very surprising. Attacking Trump on this issue. He did absolutely nothing against African Americans. Um, and they attacked him on this. What did he do? He didn't do anything. So you look like an idiot when you bring up this sort of discussion against conservatives. Do something about it if you want. Pointing the fingers at Republicans is not going to do anything. There's no neutral party here well, there's no neutral party really in politics. So you're just preaching to the birds. So when you're pointing fingers, it does nothing. It just distances yourself from somebody who could help you. But long story short, on Wikipedia, it's just written by some idiot. So it doesn't make it fact. I've seen stuff on there that said that first of all, the Republicans were in favor of the civil rights movement in the 60s, I believe. I believe it was in the 60s. The Republicans were definitely. You can look at the vote totals; it's a permanent record, and that's what matters, not someone's opinion of this or that. What matters is the voting record. The Republicans were uh, in the forefront once again on the Democrats. They beat them on slavery, and they also beat them on the civil rights movement. And a lot of people who aren't educated, they know about the Republicans on slavery, but they think the Democrats were leading the charge on the civil rights movement. Now, that was under a Democratic president, Kennedy and Johnson. But if you look at what counts as the vote totals, and the Republicans beat the Democrats on that. And then they'll attack the South, but you're getting farther away from the issue. So this is not where Joe Biden and the Democrats want that discussion. So yeah, they're going to continue to bring it up and try and dupe people, but that doesn't help. Biden's been in Congress for 48, 49 years, and African Americans still lag. So, it's your own funeral if you want to continue down that path. But the other few issues are the teen pregnancy rates and the mass scores. Well, there's no excuses for those. For that, it doesn't matter what your upbringing is, this or that. There's no excuse for that. Um, Contraceptives have no bearing on no bearing on the moral argument for teen pregnancy. So not good on that. And math scores as well. It's not something that you you can practice in school, but it's something that people are born with. Clearly see on the gender issue, males doing better than girls. And it's asinine to say that has a cultural thing as well. I didn't study on math, so just embarrassing when it's being like caught red-handed. You're just making excuses, and they're just not even buying it. Your lawyer would tell you to keep quiet, which you'd be better off. That's where the Democrats would be better off on these issues, is keeping quiet. They'd be better off. So I guess the lawyers are right about some things, but so there you go. Democrats are getting an F on race issues. And on a personal note, it's you're not going to change anybody's abilities. So um, if you want to make it a personal issue, which I think a lot of people, idiots, do with politics, um, I still have my math abilities, and that's what matters. That's what the markets are in charge here, and they pay attention to that. So here we go, another video regarding idiotic interpretations on race issues. And I predict that this will continue to happen, and it will continue to do nothing. African Americans will continue to lag with this strategy. If it doesn't work, yes, you can keep doing it, but continue to not work. So that's your choice to do that. But you're not going to catch up to somebody by going slower.